big change for the big country because ours is such a big country. And exactly it was that time, 2014, I was invited by the British government to be a jury member of the Longitude Prize, which is a £10 million prize for a rapid diagnostic test that is revolutionary and can help tackle the AMR world. I found it an honor, yes, but I didn't really take it seriously because I believe what we need is a policy change. What we need is a big change in the country in the way antibiotics are used. The big change in the complex scenario of antimicrobial resistance. Then we had so many policy changes because our collective work made a lot of changes in the country. We created a lot of policies, the National Action Plan, national policy, state policies, and over the years we made some success. I would say limited success because AMR is such a complex socio-economic and political issue. It's not just a scientific issue, it's a socio-economic and political issue. And to make such a change, significant change in a complex socio-political and economic issue, it always takes time because it is a complex issue and our country is a large and complex country. I was a bit disillusioned in one way, all of us, because we thought we can make a bigger change. Then we thought, no, we can only make limited change because of the complexity. So one way I was getting a bit disillusioned for nobody's fault because of the complexity of the problem. On the other way, over 10 years being a Longitude Prize jury member, we could assess more than 250 applications from across the world, from startups, scientists across the world who are submitting very innovative, groundbreaking technologies to us for the Longitude Prize. As a rapid point of care diagnostic, we wanted a diagnosis, any sample, you take a sample, urine, blood, any sample into a small machine that could be battery operated and can be used anywhere in the world, and within half an hour we need the name of the bacteria and susceptibility or the virus. And it was a 5-year prize. We couldn't find any innovation that's worth the prize. We extended that and it went on for 10 years, and finally we gave it to a Swedish startup called as Sysmex Astrago. It's an amazing innovation. A bit complicated. You can see they use nanofluidics and you can see the bacteria being killed by the antibiotics through a phase contrast microscopy. Very innovation, a bit sophisticated, but my lesson was I understood the value of innovation. I understood the value of startups. I realized that to make a big change, you just don't need policy changes. You need policy changes, but you need innovation to make that policy change. It's one way easy to prepare a policy. It's not easy, but one way we can prepare a policy change for the country. But implementing that needs innovation to make change in every component of antimicrobial resistance. The human, animal, environmental, new antibiotic, new vaccines, new diagnostic. You know, the perspective change, everything needs innovation. When we talk about innovation, I'm not just talking about the devices. Even an innovative change, a strategy to make the attitude change of the medical community or veterinary community or public is an innovation. So how can we make that change? We doctors are the one face antimicrobial resistance on the ground. We are the one seeing patients die. But unfortunately, we doctors like myself concentrate in our clinical practice. We are busy in our clinical practice or administrative work or teaching or research work. We are not innovators, except few rare exceptions. All the innovations are made by engineers and scientists or other entrepreneurs in collaboration with other stakeholders, not us doctors. We doctors are actually, how many of you are medics here? Fine, okay. So but I'm talking about the doctors, how we need a perspective change, an attitude change from the medical community to help the scientists, to help the engineers, to help the entrepreneurs. And why we need that change from doctors. First, we are busy, and second, we believe it's not our job. It's a job of engineers and scientists and entrepreneurs to make that change, to innovate. We believe innovation is not our job. Our job is treating patients. And we are not trained. We doctors are not trained. Neither during MBBS or postgraduate. We never had even a line or call innovation. We didn't have a line in any of our textbooks or journals on entrepreneurship. We thought it's not our job, it's not our speciality, it's not our duty to innovate. And we doctors are, we don't take a risk because our curriculum, our training is guideline based. We follow a checklist manifesto for everything. And innovation is not like that. Entrepreneurship is not like that. It's jumping into the sea of risk. That's innovative entrepreneurship, entirely opposite what we are trained to do. But why do we doctors need to make that change, that perspective change, to help the innovators? The reason we are on the ground, we know what we want on the ground. See, I've been advising several startups. Several of the startups develop wonderful technology, but on the ground, after innovation, after marketing, after positioning, they fail. Why is that? The reason is they didn't develop the technology that we doctors, stakeholders need on the ground. It's because doctors were not involved from the start. It's not the fault of the innovators. It's a fault from our side too. We don't communicate with them. They don't communicate with us. We are advisors. We act as advisors. That's not enough. What we need is medics, engineers, scientists should come together from the outset. When you start the innovation, when you brainstorm the idea, all the stakeholders should be on board. That's the way we can develop innovation that will be useful for the stakeholders. It's applicable to scientists as well. Scientists also believe, we doctors believe clinical practice is our job, innovation not our job. Many scientists also believe our job is research, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not our job. Of course, there is a big attitude change among the scientists more than that of the doctors. Many IITs, IIScs and even AIMS are making that big change now, where scientists are becoming entrepreneurs. Doctors are also becoming innovative entrepreneurs. We need that change. Entrepreneurship is a need of the hour. When I talk to doctors, they tell me we are having clinics, that is entrepreneurship. We are having hospitals, that is entrepreneurship. That is not innovative entrepreneurship. Innovative entrepreneurship is using innovative models to make a change. Starting a clinic is nothing innovation. We know how to do that. Starting a hospital is not innovative. That's conversional entrepreneurship strategy. What we need is innovative entrepreneurship change strategy. And we need to make that big change in every field of science. And AMR is a typical example. Because such a complex topic can only be solved by innovation. I've seen that policy change. I was involved at every level in the country and international level in AMR policy making. We know how difficult it is to make a big change in Delhi. Making a policy change in Delhi is very difficult. So we made so many changes. One policy change, I'm happy that made a significant change in the country is the colistin growth promotional drug. Do you know the antibiotic colistin? Have you heard of that? It's the most powerful antibiotic available today. I'm an infectious disease doctor working in a cancer center. And cancer patients are the most immunocompromised. You will see the drug-resistant bacteria killing patients live. If you want to see the live work of dangerous bacteria, come to cancer center. That's why I'm getting involved. Over the years I thought I will pull out of it. I've done my part. You can't pull out because the next day morning the first patient is dying. You see death in cancer centers. You see death because of the AMR in cancer centers. There's no way you can keep out of the issue of AMR. So we need change, we need innovation, we need change. And how can we make that change? Just like doctors, you scientists should come forward. Whatever innovation you make, you join together, form startups, be entrepreneurs. Nothing bad about entrepreneurship. Because entrepreneurship is the one how you make changes. Innovating or treating patients alone is not enough. We need new technology and we need to develop new technology, and development is not enough. We need to position it. It may be a for-profit model. At one stage I was completely, even though I work in Apollo, a corporate hospital, I was absolutely against any kind of industry involvement in antibiotic policy. I fought with governments. I fought with governments against pharmaceutical industry involvement in anything to do with the AMR. I fought with WHO, I fought with Indian government, and to a great extent I succeeded. Yes, I'm still not a big pro-industry person, but I'm a big pro-startup person. Don't confuse big industry with startup. It's a different ballgame. Big industry work for a randomized control trial, they can spend $1 billion. Startups are working with few crores, 1 crore grant from AMR, 1 crore grant from DBT, sell their scooter, sell their land. That's how startup work. During the Longitude Prize, that 10-year journey, I've seen startups flourishing, budding, blossoming, flourishing. I've seen them failing and going bankruptcy. I've seen many innovative startups I thought going to win the prize. Just before reaching the final, application withdrawn. What happened? That company got bankrupt. Got bankrupt. In fact, one of the most innovative technical companies reached the final stage. We couldn't evaluate because company went bankrupt. That's what startups are. So much of risk. In medical technology, success rate is 30%, 20%, 30%. You fail most of it. But failure is a part of any journey. Never be disheartened by failure. Then I started talking to people about innovative entrepreneurship. When I talk about AMR, nobody questioned me because people know that I'm witnessing it, I'm working on it. When I'm talking about innovative entrepreneurship, people ask, Dr. Ghafur, what is your experience in innovative entrepreneurship? You're not doing it by yourself. It's easy to speak, you have to experience it. So what I did, I started a consulting firm called Quorum Veda Consulting Services with this aim. I wanted to experience myself. And if you want to talk about a model, you have to work in that model. So it's a for-profit, it's a private company, just a startup. What I do, I advise startups. Am I doing it for money? Not really. If I spend the same time evening opening a clinic, I can definitely make much more money. I'm a senior consultant. I don't know how to advise startups. But I'm setting an example. If I set an example from my side as a senior doctor, my colleagues will be willing to come forward and help other startups. Currently, we senior doctors are not. We are busy. We don't want to spend time with juniors, youngsters coming to us, sitting with us half an hour, 1 hour. We don't have time. But we need to do that because unless we do that, how can we make that change? It's the youngsters who make the change. They are the one who innovative. They are the one coming forward with innovative entrepreneurship ideas. We need to help them. You talk to any youngsters, any startups in the medical technology, the first thing they tell will be, doctors are not willing to spend time talking to us. That's reality. That's how it is. We need to make that big change in the attitude of the medical community to help entrepreneurs, to help engineers, to help scientists. And currently we are thinking about making a curriculum change. We are communicating with National Medical NMC to include innovative entrepreneurship as a part of the curriculum. And then every medical college, every hospital should have, any major hospital should have an incubation center, should be a part of the curriculum. We want doctors to do an MD or DM in innovative entrepreneurship to make that big change. Because we need an incubation center in every major medical institution. We have the capability, we have the brain, we have the ability. What we need is the ecosystem and that attitude change. And when we talk about bugs, it's not just the bad bugs. As a doctor, as a clinician, I'm against the bad bugs. I've been talking about bad bugs, because it kills my patients. But out of all the microbial world, only 0.00001% are pathogens. 99.999% are harmless. Maybe good, may not be good, but harmless. And we are obsessed with the pathogens. We are trying to kill them. We are trying to tame them. It's not easy. So you read more. I've been, because of my involvement in AMR, I started, we are not getting new antibiotics. Now, yes, probably until a year or two, no new antibiotics. So I started attending meetings like phage meetings. I started attending every phage meeting because we need solution. Patients need solution. And we found, yes, wonderful field, but in the clinical level, we don't have the technology of phage that can be administered, mass administered. What we need is not 1 or 2 patients. We need solution that can be used every patient that need phages. And that level, bacteriophages have been developed. I started talking to microbiome experts, started visiting Ayurveda conferences, started attending homeopathy conferences, experimented, explored everything. During that process, one thing good that happened was, I started reading more about microbiome, attending microbiome meetings, metagenomics meetings, and a lot of work is done on probiotic, prebiotic. Industry and probiotic industry is so huge. So huge. In a year or two, it will be bigger than the vaccine industry. Great potential. So I started interesting because I work in a cancer center. We talk about the chemicals which produce cancer. And I'm a big connoisseur of fragrances. I love perfumes, the science of perfumery. I've been reading about the science of perfumery, the art of perfumery. I've got good friends in the perfumery world. And we talk about the molecules that produce cancer. Many of the perfume components can produce cancer. Many of them are endocrine disruptors, toxic. And many of them are pollutes the environment. So what we thought of, but then I started reading, what found was, is the skin microbiome that modulates the perfume components. We call volatile organic compound components. The skin microbiome, everything depends on the skin microbiome. You can buy a perfume of 1 lakh, 2 lakh a bottle. There's no guarantee it works on you. It may work on somebody else, not on you, because your bacterial predominance is different from other person. Your bacterial predominance is your signature. So, we thought out the idea of why can't we personalize the perfumes using the skin metagenomics. Then I started thinking, started reading, talking to people. A lot of work is done on the field. But not for personalization, to develop the perfume science further. The big company is working on it. You know what I did last week? I've been working on it for a few months. I've been studying the topic, visiting manufacturers, perfumers for a year. Last week I completed registration of my new startup. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to personalize perfume using skin metagenomics. I'm going to take a swab from people's skin, wrist or neck. I'll do NGS, get the bacterial predominance, and then I know how to interpret. If I know what percentage is Corynebacteria, what percent is Coagulase negative staph, what percent is Papione, what percent Micrococcus, what percent Lactobacillus, the person's skin depends on the site, I can predict what component will be useful for that particular individual. You know why? I'm not against perfume, I'm a connoisseur of perfume. Yes, they have side effects, but I'm not against it. Use it, but the best quality, the least amount, with the best performance for your health, for your performance, less environmental pollution. And that's going to make, hopefully, is going to make at least in that field. So let's not be obsessed with the bad bugs. Let's think about the good bugs. You know, nowadays I talk to my patients, I've made some contribution in projecting bacteria as bad due to my AMR work. Now I'm trying to talk about the good ones, because majority of the bacteria are good. So youngsters, when you talk about bugs, don't think they're all bad. Don't just to try develop technology to kill them. Work with the good bugs too, and they may help you to control the bad bugs. Thank you.